What's up, listeners?
You are listening to CuboldCast,
a podcast focused on co-op and multiplayer gaming experiences. Our hosts are Caleb, myself, Jay,
What's up?
and Chug. Before this, I went to Big Lots, and it was so depressing.
I hate Big Lots.
It's weird, like, I kind of like Big Lots almost, because, like, remember we used to go to it, and when we used to go to the movies all the time?
We used to get candy and
We
stuff.
You used to
Get-
sneak candy in.
Yeah, we used to, like, dude, one time I put it, like, in my pants.
I
to
did that
sneak it
too.
in.
We brought a bunch of candy in.
Like, the candy was rotten, but it's
Ew.
Well, it was loud trying to open the candy actually in the theater because it was quiet.
But it's not that bad, because people buy candy at the stand, so it's like, I don't know, it's not that bad.
Yeah, overpriced candy, though.
Yeah, I know. That's why we always snuck it in. But actually, there's these new energy drinks that are out. You know, like Bangs.
Yeah.
So there's these two companies that like have just sprouted up out of nowhere. One of them is called Adrenaline or something, and it's like 0 calorie. You know, all that kind of stuff.
Sounds
Zero
like a
carb.
medicine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And then the other one is Rays. And I actually ordered like a 8-pack of that because I got a deal where it was like only $14 for like 8 for a sample.
Kev, how
But they're
much
all
is the G Fuel you get? Like the cans?
You can get like a 12-pack for like $35.
I was telling Caleb.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was telling
Yeah.
Caleb before when we were biking. I was like, they really need to get those in stores because I saw the Adrenaline or whatever. Those are new and they were in Big Lots. So
Huh.
if they can get themselves in smaller stores or like stores that aren't like Walmart, then they can actually do really well.
Well, the
because-
G Fuel cans are actually in 7-Elevens now.
Yeah, they need to get them into Walmart
Yeah.
Mhm.
because then they can sell them in bulk and then they'll be like $2.
Then they have
a
to lower the
piece.
price.
Well,
They don't want
well,
that.
Yeah, but also they're gonna get more people buying them
True.
because yeah.
I never had those. I like the normal G Fuel, though.
But
Well,
you've
you don't
never
like
you've never
carbonation.
tried the can.
Well, I don't burp.
Well,
so.
yeah, Jay doesn't like. You know, Keenan doesn't like carbonation.
Well, it's not just that. I actually can't burp.
Yeah, you burp like once every 6 months.
You make throat noises.
I was
Yeah,
there
that's
for
what
your
it is.
first burp. No, was it your first burp?
I don't know. I wasn't a baby. I mean, what happened
Yeah.
as a baby?
Well, it was like years ago, but I remember I was like, you were like, I just burped. I was like, oh, like I witnessed something.
That's the peak of my existence. Right
yeah,
there.
the
Yes.
burp.
What have you guys been playing lately?
I've been playing the game I got last night was what is it? Wild West and Wizards.
It's a Steam game?
Yeah, so it's on sale for 12, but it's originally 15. It came out yesterday, and it's like an RPG, and it's actually so good. Like I can't wait to do a review on it because it's so interesting.
Yeah, I saw you playing it, and it looked really
Okay,
fun.
so it's not any Red Dead. Like it's not a Red Dead game, but it's got like its own characters and its own world. And obviously you have like a mixture of like weapons and like wizards. And one thing that's funny about it is that literally everyone in the game has a revolver. Like I was helping the priest get his pamphlets around the map, and he was holding a revolver just like casually. And then there was another one where I rescued like a damsel in distress, and she was in the cage with a revolver.
What?
She couldn't escape with
Yeah, I
that?
know. I'm like, okay. But I don't know. It's got like this weird, funny atmosphere, and the graphics are really like interesting.
They're unique.
Yeah, it reminds me of like Sea of Thieves, or like you guys were saying,
The Witness.
The Witness,
Paint the
and
Town Red.
Paint the Town Red. Yeah. So I like games like that, but it's kind of like the first single player game that I've played in like a long time,
Yeah.
other than the Witcher. But
Yeah, but that's
But-
saying something, though, because you never play single-player games.
yeah, I know. I don't know. There was just something about it, like the way it looked, like compelled me to get it. But I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And Chug, you've been playing Monster Hunter World, right?
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, what's up with? I mean, you were saying like you didn't want to get back into it. Like,
I
what made you want to
didn't.
get into it?
But Sam kind of bought me the DLC, and
Oh,
you see,
I see. Sam paid you to play with him.
That's
And
how Caleb
then-
gets all his games.
no,
Or Chug gets all his games.
No.
Well, I'm surprised. Sometimes Sam buys you like, didn't he buy you 3 games for Christmas one year or something?
yeah, but I bought him like 3 or 4 games back.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not really like
Yeah.
that big of a deal.
I mean, one time he bought 6 of us Gang Beasts. That
he
was
didn't buy it
$20.
for me.
Oh, he didn't?
No, I was
It
like
was
the only one that
$20.
didn't buy it.
It was
spent like a-
16, but still.
He spent like over $100 on that game.
Yeah.
That we played for
Uh,
like an hour.
I know we have like I think I have like 6 hours in it, and that's it. It's fun for a while, but it gets kind of old.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of variety. I've been playing Bannerlord, Mountain Blade Bannerlord recently.
What is that about?
So it's a kind of a simulation game of medieval warfare. And basically, you can travel the map and take over castles and cities. And you start with as a peasant with nothing. And then you slowly raise an army. and you can have battles of thousands of troops on screen. It's
Wait.
crazy.
What is it? First or third person?
Either one.
Wait, why haven't I heard of this game?
I don't know. It just
That's
came out in early
crazy.
access. It's a sequel to Warband, which is a game that came out years ago.
That sounds awesome.
It really is.
So you can
except,
like work your way up from peasant
yeah,
status?
you start off with pretty much nothing, and then you slowly get a band of men together, and then you start raiding villages and killing looters and stuff.
That's awesome. Is there a story?
Not really.
Hmm.
I mean, a little bit, but a lot of quests that are just kind of repeating
Yeah.
that you use to get money and troops and stuff.
Huh. Can you become a king?
Yeah, you can. You can start
Oh,
your own
that's
kingdom.
awesome.
You could take over existing kingdoms.
It looks
It's
really
funny.
cool.
The whole peasant thing kind of reminds me of our Discord server now.
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what is it? There's what's the lowest level?
He calls it the commune of
The
kingdoms.
slave.
Slave is
No,
the-
exiled is the lowest level.
Okay, exiled is the lowest level. Those are basically the people that don't join the chat. And then there's what is it? Slave,
The slave,
and then
then
peasant,
peasant, then nobleman,
Yep.
then
Knight?
knight. No, is it knight under nobleman? I think knight's under nobleman.
Okay. Okay.
And
yeah.
then clergy, and then royalty.
Yeah. And then the people in the peasant like category, they can make appeal.
No, the exiled.
The exile, they can make appeals and try to get back
Yeah,
into
they
the
can't talk in any of the chats, so they have to join the appeal chat and ask to join the other ones.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of happened.
So we actually have a guest with us today. Our friend Bryan, whose YouTube channel is JustRandomLuck.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen?
Okay, today we're going to be talking about the free online multiplayer game SCP Secret Laboratory. So the game is set in a fictional universe similar to the Men in Black series.
Well, it's similar because they keep entities hidden from the public eye.
Right. Because basically what the whole universe is centered around is the Foundation.
The SCP Foundation, which stands for Secure, Contain, and Protect.
Yeah. So this foundation basically, its whole goal is to protect the world from anomalies and, extraterrestrials and, monsters that will harm, the people or the world. Anyone, yeah.
Yeah, whether it be an object or a creature.
Yeah. Bryan, you got some history about the Foundation? Bryan basically knows like
History?
everything about the SCP universe.
Don't catch your chickens before they hatch, man. I'm just saying, I don't know that much.
Well, wasn't it like started with I don't know, like all the world leaders or something like that?
World leaders. Well,
Yeah, I actually don't know anything about the history.
I don't know anything about the history. Technically, they all existed.
Yeah.
They all existed previously.
Right.
Well, technically, I guess you can say that God created them all, or SCP-535. Don't quote me on that.
Well, I mean, like, I'm talking about like the Foundation.
Oh, the Foundation.
Yeah.
They actually existed for a while, even during like the medieval ages, I believe. That's when they were created.
Wait,
Really?
Huh.
So
Yeah,
how'd
I
they
do believe so.
contain the creatures?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably old-fashioned like stakes,
A wooden
vampires,
cage or
whatever.
something?
Oh my.
Wooden cage. I don't know, but actually, there actually was an organization back during the medieval times, I believe.
Huh.
That is really cool.
Isn't there? Was
Because
there?
their main.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
Sorry, continue on. No, you continue on. You're the host here.
Well, yeah. Well, you're saying their main goal is to what? Protect.
Pretty much
Well,
the public from. Actually, well, technically, the SCP Foundation in general is to protect, obviously, the people from anomalies, extraterrestrial lives, like you said before.
Yeah.
But they also, another thing is they don't want to bring humanity back into the Dark Ages where they believe in curses and
Whoa. Wait, so they're
mythological things.
so they're basically what, protecting the world from believing in like magic and stuff?
Pretty much, yes. That's actually what they're trying to prevent
Aren't they?
from
So okay, so it's not in their motto or whatever, but they do use the SCPs, like the research. They use it for something, right? Because they research.
the betterment for humanity as well. Some SCPs are for betterment of humanity, if that's what you're talking.
Yeah. So their goal is like I agree with the Foundation. Like I think their goal is really good, but then there's also like the sketchy side of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
like
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hiding information from even their own members.
yeah.
Wait,
like
Bryan,
that.
you would say that the SCPs are using magic and curses, different things like that?
No. They're trying to prevent that from getting to the public. That's what I'm trying to say
The
here.
So you're
knowledge
saying
of
the
SCP.
SCPs are?
No,
or-
no.
Well,
In the Dark Ages, there were a lot of curses or beliefs in curses, spirits, and all
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
true.
they don't want us to go back to that time period.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, so they hide it from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there are like cursed books in some of the SCPs or whatever.
Yeah.
Because if they broke out, that's a really bad thing.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on which one. Certain ones would be deadly.
Oh, yeah.
What are
Okay,
the ranks of them?
Yeah. Brian, what are the levels of
I
SCPs?
believe, there's technically 5 levels. I might butcher the last 2.
Okay.
But there's a safe one, which means they can actually be easily contained and or aren't dangerous to humanity.
Mhm.
The second one is Keter, which are known to be dangerous and are hard to contain as well.
Yeah.
And Euclid, which they could be dangerous, but they're also hard to contain as well.
Okay. What are the last two?
The last two is I might butcher this, but the Jay, you know how to pronounce those last 2? Because I remember you actually did a really good job of pronouncing them.
them. I forget what they're called.
It's pretty much the last 2 were pretty much SCP that can contain other SCPs, and the other one, which is like if he breaks out, he like destroys the world like Cthulhu, pretty much. I think he's
Oh yeah.
he's
I'm
Euclid
looking up.
though.
There's esoteric.
Esoteric, which I believe is SCP on SCP, which they can contain.
There's
each other.
also Thamiel.
Thamio.
Yeah.
I believe that's if that broke out, the whole entire world just breaks, just collapses.
Wait,
Yeah.
is there an alloteric or what is that called again?
Esoteric.
Esoteric. Is there an esoteric in Secret Laboratory?
I don't know.
I believe not. No.
They're called
It's only
narrative
Keters and
classes.
Euclids.
They don't fall into the above ones, and they're used to further the narrative of a particular SCP. That's what it says on the site. So they're mostly for story explanation.
Yeah. When we refer to SCPs, we're talking about the anomalies. So they go by SCP dash and then a number. So that's their like identity or whatever. So when we call them SCPs, we're just referring to them as a whole.
Brian, why don't you explain Peanut SCP?
Oh, Peanut.
What's his number?
The good old fashioned YouTube clickbait thumbnail.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
He's
Technically,
SCP-173.
He's SCP-173. He's considered a Keter, if I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. Pretty much he's a creepy fellow. If you pretty much take your eyesight away from him, he'll just snap your neck. I don't know how, because in fact he's made out of cement and like concrete.
It's pretty
I don't know what he's
terrifying,
made out of, but somehow he
actually.
can move his arms.
Yeah, you hear
he can actually
scraping
move.
stone in the next room.
Yeah.
He's a creepy statue. Yeah.
He's really fast too. He moves faster than the blink of an eye.
Yeah, he teleports.
Yeah, he's compared to the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. If anybody's ever watched,
I
it
love
before.
that.
Yeah. Also, doesn't he like excrete
Blood
Feces
and
and
blood
feces.
and feces?
Yes.
Yeah, that's found on the floor of his containment cell.
You have to get like a janitor in there every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you'll like I read that the researchers they'll hear like scraping when the door's closed because
You can hear that in SCP containment breach.
Really?
It's creepy because I heard it next to me and I knew he was in the other room.
Yeah.
That's
You can
terrifying.
also hear it in you can hear it in lab too as well.
Can you really? He's not
Yeah,
as
you can.
scary in lab though.
Well, that's
because
because
he's player
controlled by
controlled.
people.
Yeah, I know, but you can go
It's
up
creepy if
to him
it's
and stare at him.
AI.
No, but
Yeah.
you have that time when you were the scientist.
Oh yeah. So I spawned in as a scientist and I go into that room near SCP-173's containment. I didn't know that Chug was playing SCP-173. So basically, I'm just minding my own business and I'm looking at the F1 screen to see what the scientist does, and then all of a sudden my character blinks, and then I see like this statue standing in the doorway, and I scream, and Caleb starts dying laughing, and I'm like, I didn't know you were Peanut, and then yeah, he killed me,
It's so funny.
but.
Yeah, I was playing as
Wait,
Peanut once, and I killed
Wait, hold on.
Brian's entire squad and your squad too.
You did.
Yeah.
Hold on, I believe Chug. I don't know that video posted in Discord.
Which
Who
one?
were you? What SCP were you when I was screaming?
I was 173.
With
I was
Keenan.
Peanut.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, I was
That
standing
terrified
inside
me. I was in the middle of
upgrade
upgrading my
station.
card. You scared the crap out of me.
That was awesome. You screamed so loud. It was hilarious.
There are some other creepy SCPs in the game too.
Yeah.
The Plague Doctor SCP, which I
To
believe
be honest, I love the guy.
096,
I love
right?
SCP. 096, I love him. To be honest, he's a wholesome boy.
Do you want to explain him? Your favorite one?
Actually, how about you do it, Jay?
Well, you know it better than I do. But the Plague Doctor was found by the Foundation, and he keeps rambling on about some disease that no one's really found what it is. But they kind of leave it open to interpretation that there could be a disease that humans just can't see, or he's just crazy, and he just kills people to cure them.
Well, actually, you know how he was found, right?
No, I don't actually.
He was actually found. Well, technically, he didn't turn into the SCP yet, but what I read was that he just found the plague doctor during the Black Plague. He just found a plague doctor just riding on his horse.
Who's
he?
He
just collapsed from the illness. Or well, technically, he doesn't have a name. Technically, how can I explain this?
Is it a scientist or something?
Confusing.
Was he a doctor?
Right. He was originally SCP-096 was originally a farmer.
Oh.
And eventually, he just stumbled upon a corpse of a plague doctor.
And he took his outfit, right?
Yeah, he took his outfit. Who recently died from the Black Plague. Then he just wore it to make money for his family. He eventually, I believe, he met up with SCP-035, which is the mask SCP.
Really?
Did he possess him?
Yeah. I believe so. Either or he rejected the possession, but they were acquainted before. If you saw one of them.
So how does he live for so long?
And how does he turn his victims into zombies?
Oh, he does like crude surgeries on his victims.
Oh yeah, but how is that? That's supernatural, obviously.
Supernatural, yeah.
Where'd he get those powers?
I can't
Was it from the outfit?
Probably. I can't explain. This is all interpretation to people. That's what I kind of like about the SCP universe.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how he did it. It's just magical.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So in the game, you basically you can one-shot people basically, or like you just tap them and they die.
They just fall over.
Yeah. Then you can, if it's a fresh kill and you killed them, then you can revive them as zombies.
Yeah, but it has to be in a certain amount of seconds, though.
Yeah.
You have 10
SCP
seconds or something before
Right.
you can actually turn them into a zombie.
He's actually fun to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Plague Doctor.
It's funny because sometimes or actually most of the time, I'll be like, take me, I'll follow you.
Yeah.
Like most people just want to die and be one of his zombie followers.
When people die and get turned into a zombie, everyone starts chanting, "One of us, one of us,"
and they call him Dad.
Yeah,
right?
every time. It's amazing.
He's a good old fashioned. Well, what's called SCP-939, the dog. That's another friendly one during.
Kind of
yeah,
friendly.
because he actually talk to people. He could talk to anybody.
People. It's funny.
Yeah.
He could talk.
Yeah.
I thought all they could.
Yeah, he can
they
talk.
all could talk.
No, you can't talk to anyone else other than if you're the dog.
Yeah, the dog's supposed to what is it? He's supposed to take on human voices in the other ones. So they just added the voice chat system in for everybody for the dog in this one.
Okay. Wait, Brian, was the dog those creatures from Containment Breach? The ones that mimic human voices? They're so big.
Yeah.
Those things are huge. It looks like a normal dog in Secret Lab.
Yeah. So basically the dogs are blind and they can't see, but they can basically see through
they see movement.
Yeah, they see movement and sound too, because if someone shoots a gun then they'll see them too. So when you're playing as the dog in SCP Laboratory,
Everything's black and white.
yeah, everything's black and white and you can't see anyone unless they move, shoot, or bump into you. So sometimes if you're running away from the dog, you can close the doors behind you and then just stand still, and you might be lucky and they'll run past you.
Mm-hmm.
So
we gotta actually describe the game in detail because it's kind of hard to describe.
yeah,
There's a lot going on in it.
It
yeah,
is.
true.
Brian, do you want to describe the game?
Oh dear. Well,
You played it for longer than all of us.
not really.
In a short synopsis, Brian.
A short synopsis.
Basically,
What are the goals?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, technically, the game revolves around classes in general. Chug, if you can explain one of the classes, that'd be nice.
well, the nine-tailed fox, basically, they are kind of like a SWAT team, right? I assume.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, like a SWAT team that's going in. They help the scientists.
And security guards
They
too.
they try to help the scientists and the security guards escape. So when the scientists escape, they become nine-tailed fox.
Yeah.
But where do they come from, though?
Basically, well, the Nine-Tailed Fox are basically the backup. They are the they work for the
They're
foundation.
Oh, okay.
They're the
Yeah,
mobile-
pretty much.
They're the mobile task force, pretty much.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong, they send them in.
Huh.
Yeah, and then there's the another. Well, it's not really. I guess it is kind of like a task force, but the Chaos Insurgency.
Well, here we go with complications with the chaos.
Okay.
They were originally part of the foundation, They actually used to be part of the Foundation.
There used to be Ninetales?
They used to be Ninetales, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Until one of their, I believe, high commands rebelled and stole tons of SCPs with them. And
So what is
that's
their
where
goal?
Their
Chaos.
goal is pretty much to just use the SCPs to their own advantage.
And to get the D-boys out.
Yeah, technically they
D-boys.
get the
Class D
D-
personnel.
Yeah, Class D personnel.
Yeah.
But we call them
a lot
the
of people
D-boys.
call them D-boys.
Well, yeah. So in SCP, the Class D personnel are actually prisoners that are on death row, and the Foundation takes them in order to experiment on the SCPs with them.
That's the sketchy part of the Foundation. But
Yeah.
even,
or
I mean, I don't know.
or the
Even then.
chaos.
But I mean,
Or
they
the
were gonna
chaos
die
poison.
anyway.
Yeah. So but sometimes like in some of the stories, like the D class like get like they suffer and like die and get tortured by the SCPs, like Larry
Yeah.
and stuff.
But I mean, I guess it's better than the alternative.
Yeah, true. They have to. I mean, they have to understand the SCPs somehow. You know.
Mhm. I mean, if they got
I
out,
like
they could cause a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I'd rather get lethal injection than get clawed.
Yeah.
Well, they think
Yeah,
they can
true.
get freed.
Oh,
That's a
yeah,
lie.
that's
No, it's
right.
not.
You kind of that's a
No,
that's it?
in containment breach, you pick up a letter that says if you survive the testing, you'll be completely pardoned and set free.
Oh,
So I actually never knew that until I played that game.
I thought you said that in the
I thought you
end
said that they wouldn't actually break out.
like go back on that promise and they kill you
Yeah.
anyways.
Well, yeah, but they lied to them. They give them false hope.
You're kind of screwed nonetheless.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because didn't you read something else that said, like the first of every month, all the D class need to be exterminated or whatever and replaced by like a new
Yeah.
set or
Really?
whatever.
Yeah, I
In
saw that
containment
in one of
breach.
them.
Yeah,
Is that
was
like
later.
the start of a new match basically?
That's
maybe.
containment breach.
That's containment breach. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So basically, SCP Secret Laboratories is basically like the map and the gameplay is basically exactly like another game called Containment Breach, which
the
is
map isn't the same though.
Yeah, it is.
majority.
it is.
Yeah, most of it.
Is it?
hmm
The
Yeah.
light containment, heavy containment, and what like entrance and surface.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
I've never gone to the surface yet, so I don't know if that looks the same.
Yeah,
It is the same.
and
Huh.
most of the SCPs are modeled after the ones in that game too.
Yeah.
The single
I
player.
think they might be the same models.
They are.
They're also
the same
adding
models.
more
Well,
in the
actually,
future.
technically, under Unity engine, they.
Well, I'm
look
not
more
playing the
sleek.
Unity version.
Oh.
That's not fully out yet.
Oh.
So anyway, we were going through the classes. So yeah, Ninetail Fox is with the Foundation. They come in to basically fix things when a containment breach happens.
And
or-
get the scientists
and
out.
and yeah, rescue the scientists. Work with the security guards, but they can also recruit them too.
So the scientists, what is their goal?
The scientists, they need
Try
to
not to get
escape.
clawed.
They're just bullet
Yeah.
sponges.
Basically, no one. Yeah,
And then the Class D, their
They need-
role is to escape,
yeah. Also, yeah.
but they don't have anything. At least the scientists have a key card to start with.
Mm-hmm.
The
Well,
prisoners
some
don't have anything.
servers give you a coin, which you can
You can upgrade to
you can
get
upgrade.
anything.
Huh.
Well, a gun.
So there's a random chance you'll get something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought it
you
was
get
a
random
weapon.
chances coins.
It's pretty cool.
It's not
Yeah,
bad.
so you can upgrade materials using an SCP that's in a game.
Mhm.
Which number SCP was that?
Is it 0?
524 maybe.
Is it?
That machine's an SCP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Know
mind
that?
is blown.
So basically, as a Class D personnel, the doors open when the game first starts, and then you have to like make your way through this maze of a foundation and find your way.
It's randomly generated.
Yeah, randomly generated, and find your way to that SCP you were talking about, which is like a refinery.
Yeah, so it has an entrance and it has an exit. And anything you put into the entrance and press the button will be refined into something else using one of the settings. There's coarse, fine, very
Rough,
fine,
I think.
rough, yeah.
No, coarse rough, yeah. Coarse rough, fine. Or no, 1-1.
Yeah,
1-1.
So each of those settings do something different. Like I think very fine has a chance to destroy the item.
Yeah.
It's a
But it has a
gamble
chance
that
to
you'll get
actually
something
upgrade it.
better.
Yeah,
Like a lot better.
But
So-
fine is a safe setting that will upgrade the item.
one step at a time. Yeah.
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 But it's really risky to be in that room because the SCPs go there first because they
Yeah.
know there's
They
going
like
to
the
be people
camp
there.
there, yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
kind of like the camp there.
So basically, so before you go to that room, you have to basically search the map and find a key card lying around, and then you go to the machine and then slowly upgrade your key card until like it's high clearance,
Mhm.
so you can escape.
But if an SCP goes into that room, you can actually close the door on them and get them stuck.
Yeah.
Some
'cause-
SCPs can open doors though.
Yes, that is true.
well,
but
that's a key card door.
Actually, that's a key card door, yeah. No,
the only person the only SCP that can get through there is Larry, because he can walk
Yeah.
through walls. Yeah. So okay, wait.
We haven't discussed Larry yet.
Well, first, okay. Is there any other classes, human classes? Oh, there's security guard.
Yeah, and they have a
facility
pistol.
guard, you mean?
Facility guard. Yeah.
Well, they have a pistol.
No,
or?
they have an MP7.
MP7.
Yeah, their goal is
I know,
to.
it's pretty much it's cannon
Yeah.
fodder. They're
Yeah, basically.
they're pretty much like a worse version of Ninetail Fox.
They're pretty
Yeah.
much D-class with gun.
Yeah. So their goal is to detain or kill the D class and then help the scientists escape.
Yes, detain them, but majority of the time they just shoot them.
Yeah.
Caleb
Ev-
did when I was
yeah,
detaining a D class.
Everyone just shoots them. No one wants to. Well, sometimes you can detain. I mean, but what's the point? Just
Yeah,
to
people
kill
get
them.
trigger happy. It's fun.
Yeah.
They could. Well, if you detain the D class, they can become NTF.
True. Yeah.
Which
Wait,
is
when they
another
die, they
extra
become
person.
NTF?
When you get them to the
No, if you
evac zone.
detain them,
Oh, okay.
yeah. If you evacuate them and they're detained,
Yeah.
But if they die, they become the other one?
yeah, they become the other one, or just dead.
Or if they
in general.
if they escape without their bonds on, do they still become chaos?
Yeah, if they escape without bonds, they
Yeah.
become chaos. If they escape with bonds, they become NTF.
I didn't know
okay.
that. That's pretty cool.
So before we go into the SCPs, they're also basically there's light containment, and then there's heavy containment, entrance zone, and then the surface level. The surface level is where you're as a D class and a scientist you want to go to escape. That
And
way
that's
you
also where the other classes spawn, like the Nine-Tailed Fox.
yeah, Nine-Tailed Fox and Chaos spawn
So
on
if
the
you want to
surface.
escape, you have to be really careful.
Yeah.
You have to choose a time where they're not the enemy is spawning up.
Yeah,
No, which one spawns in via helicopter?
that's Nine-Tailed.
Nine-Tailed.
That's Ninetail.
The other
Yeah.
day, I spawned in as Ninetail, and there were all the Chaos waiting there, and they mowed us down the second we got out of the helicopter.
Oh
Oh yeah, I was there.
It was terrible.
I mowed you guys down.
That was you?
Oh.
Oh my Bryan.
Yeah.
Wow, Bryan.
Hey, it's okay.
So light containment is where scientist and the D class spawn, and also Peanut he spawns in light containment, and then heavy containment is where the majority of the other SCPs spawn, and entrance zone is where security guard spawns. So you have to get through all those levels as a D class from light to heavy to entrance to surface without dying, basically. So it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard, yeah. I've never done it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't escaped as a scientist, but I have escaped as a D boy.
yeah. I've escaped as a D boy. But anyway,
I
so
escaped as a
Jay,
scientist.
you
And
wanted to go
D-class.
into the SCPs.
Which SCPs?
Well, we can start with Larry, I
Larry.
guess.
So Larry, he's this old man. It's actually his nickname, the Old Man.
Yeah.
And he has some sort of ability to enter a pocket dimension, which is like another dimension in or outside of our own. And he enters that via this black corrosive slime.
Mm-hmm.
And he can go in there, and then he comes out in another place, teleporting. He can also walk through walls in game too.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of not safe from him at all
Yeah.
in any place.
And then he can when you attack someone or whatever, they go into a pocket dimension. So he has his own little pocket dimension where you were talking about like what he wants to be like his own god in a way almost
Yeah, pretty much.
in that pocket
He
dimension.
can do whatever he wants in that dimension.
Yeah, he enjoys like torturing people in that dimension.
Well, there's 8 doors in the pocket dimension.
yeah,
That's just Secret Lab.
Yeah.
yeah,
And you
No,
can go in
even
one
in
of the 8
Containment
doors.
Breach as well. I believe in Containment Breach they have 8 doors that you can escape from. I
There are
remember.
actually multiple dimensions in that dimension.
yeah.
Oh,
I was
really?
Like
watching
I
you.
found one where I was in a World War I trench, and there was
Oh,
this
yeah,
giant bird
yeah.
flying overhead that made airplane sounds.
yeah,
It's pretty creepy. I think you could still escape from that.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
So there
I
is a
believe
way to
so.
escape
But
that
then
pocket dimension. But
Yeah, there's only
Yeah, but that's-
one
that's-
door. There's 8 in Secret Laboratory. There's 8 doors, and you have to choose one door.
yeah,
And if you don't get the right door, you're
You die.
pretty much dead.
But
And-
you can kind of see the dead bodies from other people,
yeah,
and you can choose. Okay, I'm not going to go in there. Someone died in there, so, you go into
do
a different
not
one.
be
Yeah.
the first person to enter that dimension.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And then also if you don't go through any doors, there's like corrosion. You
You'll
basically die.
deteriorate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just die eventually.
Yeah. So Larry just like he enjoys just torturing people. He's like a psychopath.
It's kind of a creep.
Yeah, he is. But oh
Just like
yeah.
Chug.
There's a way to contain him in the game though,
Oh yeah, you have to take one of your friends and sacrifice them.
or they're willingly sacrificed. Yeah. Well, they have to be willing.
Yeah, you can't just grab someone and
Yeah.
throw them.
Well,
Yeah, I
unless you
think-
have them at gunpoint. I did that before.
You did that before, you psychopath.
Wow.
I would just run and get shot.
Wow. Well, I mean, at least like you die for a good cause.
Well, I mean, I would rather die by a gunshot than die by having my
What femur?
my femur
Femur,
broken.
yeah, the femur breaker.
Yeah. So basically, like you. So okay, to recontain Larry is you have to get a willing sacrifice to go into this what is it, like a
Some sort of machine.
It's a femur breaker.
Yeah. So the machine, and then someone else pushes the button, and it breaks the person's femur, and then they start screaming and like crying. And
It sounds more violent than it actually is.
Yeah, I know. So basically, that screaming and crying attracts Larry because he loves. I don't know. He likes people in pain, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it attracts him, and then he it basically gets him back in his containment.
Yeah, you'll just lock him in there.
It's like insta killing him. He doesn't die though.
He doesn't die, yeah, but
Wait,
you can't play for the rest of the
He's contained in that small little space.
In his
back in
cell.
his cell.
Okay.
In the cell.
Yeah. So, let's see. What's some other ones?
The computer, which the computer is the reason all the NPCs or
SCPs.
SCPs.
NPCs escaped at first.
Mm-hmm.
So the computer, he was originally built in the 1970s, 1980s, and he was on a cassette tape. And the Foundation found him and gave him some more memory, and he slowly learned over time because he was an AI. And so eventually he was able to gain control of the facility and then open the doors and let the SCPs out.
Yeah.
So that was how the whole breach started in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually play as the computer.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
pretty boring.
Yeah, it can be.
If you know how to play,
really is
though,
boring.
if you know how to play, it's
so
not boring.
So basically, you can like lock doors, open
Cause
doors.
power outages.
Yeah.
You can turn on electric gates that when people walk through them to kill them.
Yeah. So, let's see. We also talked about we talked a little bit about the dogs. Yeah.
The
We
colorblind.
talked about.
Yeah,
it.
yeah, or just blind. What else is there? So we got.
There's
Peanut.
a shy guy we haven't talked about.
Oh, Shy
SCP
Guy.
096.
He's one of my favorites.
He's so powerful.
He's creepy too.
Yeah.
Just the
I pretty
whole
much
lore
just
behind him.
every time I just make him mad, I just accept my fate because he's just gonna and I just get kill him.
You can't
Bryan,
run from him.
Since you seem to be the expert on Shy Guy, you want to go through what he's all about?
Just because I slashed you with my claws like 20 times.
I
in a
asked
match
for
doesn't
mercy,
mean
Bryan.
anything.
I asked for mercy. There was a guy, I told you where he was, but you ignored that and went for me. I can't believe you.
Look, you were a coward in that cell.
Wow,
I had to pull you out of
Bryan.
there.
Whatever. Okay, just go through it, Shy Guy.
All right. Well, Shy Guy, technically so pretty much at the beginning he's just slow because no one's looking at him. So pretty much he just walks around in the facility mindlessly until you
Fine.
actually get down to light containment where all the D-class and scientists are.
Mhm.
In which, if a D-class or scientist makes the mistake of looking at you, you go into an antisocial rage where you just scream your lungs out and you proceed to chase him till he's dead.
Yeah.
So
Actually, in Containment Breach, he actually continues to chase you down. Unlike an SCP, you actually have a time limit of how you can kill him. Or
That'd be too overpowered if there wasn't a time
Yeah.
limit.
Yeah.
In real SCP
Like-
lore, if you view his
SCP
face, nothing can stop him from killing you. No
even
known
a
material.
picture, even a picture of him will
Yeah.
actually
Oh my.
kill you.
In one of the SCP stories, someone had a picture of them on a mountain or something, and there was a 2-pixel wide image of his face on that image, and they still triggered him like that.
Wow.
Wasn't there like one where where the guy like had a picture of him in space and someone just went up in space and just
Yeah, I
slashed
saw
him?
this meme where this astronaut was in space and he looked at a picture and you see him come flying off the Earth and attack him. It was hilarious.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, so actually, anyone that looks at him will cause him to go into the antisocial rage.
Pretty much,
Mhm.
yeah.
But the way he
And-
works in Secret Lab is that when one person triggers him, he can just go into a domino effect and kill everyone.
Yeah.
Bryan took out like the whole Chaos Insurgency squad.
He has
That's
And
double
NTF.
double move
Yeah.
speed of a human.
Yeah, he's so fast, and he can like
It's-
break down doors.
He's
Yeah.
so fun to break down doors. You did not know how fun that is, especially
Yeah.
seeing someone run and shut the doors behind you.
Wait, I've never tried. Can
it's
you break down the giant doors that lead to
Not the gate
upgrade
doors.
station?
Oh,
No.
actually, about that, SCP is gonna get a new update where Shagan can actually open up the gate doors by force.
Oh wow.
Oh my.
What?
Yeah, he's gonna actually eventually open up the doors by force.
There's
There's gonna be a little animation of
that's
him actually
scary.
opening it up.
He's so OP. Like if he's in rage, there's just like nothing you can do. You can't run
Pretty
away.
much.
It's like
Yeah.
you just accept your fate.
You don't have enough bullets to kill him, or
Yeah, he's got a ton of health. Like there's no way. Oh, bullets to kill him, that reminds me, there is a weapon in the game called the micro. What is it? HID or something?
Mini? I thought it was mini.
Micro.
Oh,
It's
micro.
micro.
Okay.
Yeah, and so basically it's like this electrical charge gun that actually can kill the SCPs. Apparently,
one shot or something.
Well, apparently it can
It's
kill.
almost.
Well, I was reading up on it, and it can kill any SCP as long as it's with a full charge.
Huh. How do you charge it?
So you just, I don't know, you can hold down the left click, and it'll charge up, and then immediately fire when it's ready. It takes like 3 seconds to charge up, or you can charge it up by holding right click, and then it'll hold the charge, but slowly drain. So that way, if you're waiting for something, you can hold the charge, and then when you're ready, fire.
That's really cool.
But it's in heavy containment, and you need the highest level black key card to
Which are
access it.
very hard to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're in the
They're
refinery,
not hard to
if
get.
you're in
they're
the-
actually able.
well, you can't get them unless you upgrade. You can't get them any other way than upgrading in the refinery.
Is it possible to destroy cameras from the
No.
That's not. I
It's
tried my
not?
best to do so.
even with the micro?
No,
Nope,
you can't. The only
you
way to
gotta,
turn.
you gotta take out the generators if you
Yeah.
want to take out the old AI.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Which,
but the AI isn't like too much of a, honestly, like too much of a threat.
He's a nuisance.
Yeah. Well,
Although, if you're in the machine room, he could open the door.
oh, and let the SCPs in.
Yeah.
oh, about that, Caleb, when I sent you that little clip of me as security guard and Peanut chasing me down, the reason why I was stuck in that room is because the computer locked me in that room with him.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I was screwed.
Actually, one time I was the dog, and then I was talking with the guy that was playing the computer, and I was like, "Hey, like, can you help me out?" So he kept closing and locking the doors, like in this one little corner area, so that I can kill the guy. So like, they
Nice.
can be honestly, it can be like really helpful, but otherwise, like most of the time, if you get the computer, you're kind of like, ah.
You're just sitting there staring at your screen, waiting for
I think-
somebody to
Yeah.
go in front of your camera.
I think the computer can talk over the intercom anytime it wants.
again, yeah.
you have to
No, we
find
can.
a specific intercom thing though to
Oh,
actually
It's in
talk.
the SCP. It's in SCP's 939, the dogs area where he spawns. That's where you can
Huh.
talk
Hmm.
as a computer.
That's weird because I was pressing Q and I could talk anytime as a computer.
Not to anybody.
as
though.
in,
Well,
like,
just
talk
to the other
people in general.
SCPs.
No, in intercom, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I like the intercom.
Yeah. So any player can go over to the intercom and they can talk and everyone in the facility hears them,
Yeah.
which gets a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
I think there are some people that actually like go with the role and actually be like, we're gonna extract you. There's some. Then later there's like the other people.
Yeah,
that
but most
just
of the
say random
people,
stuff or something.
Just
Yeah.
scream
most of
into
the
it.
people just say random.
we
things.
heard what's we call it. I believe like the me what's it called?
The Wii music.
The Wii music.
What,
or the
over
me
the
shopping
intercom?
channel music over the intercom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. One time I was with a couple D class, and we were in the refinery room, but we were locked in basically because there was like the dog and Peanut camping the door, and then all we hear over the overcoms, it's like, "Ksh, chaos insurgency, don't worry, boys, we're gonna come and extract you, we're coming," and then we were just like so happy, we had like so much hope.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get extracted?
No, we died.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's why you said hope.
Yeah, we had hope, so it was good.
That was dashed very quickly.
I think the computer opened the door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he is more of a threat than we give him credit for.
Yeah, it just depends on who's using them.
Yeah, if he knows where you are, then he could be deadly.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was
Well,
playing,
technically,
I could
also
barely
for
figure
the-
out where I was going.
Yeah.
I kind of like messing with people with him though. Like
Yeah.
there's people going through the door, they open the door and you close it really fast and they just stare at the door and like look at the camera and they're like, they know it's you.
Sometimes they yell at you.
Yeah. That's funny.
The community is actually pretty good. It's a really good community.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah, because it's fictional, writing based. There's a lot of creativity involved.
Basically, the whole thing is made up of community, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they give everyone can use the SCP, right? Like
Mhm.
logo or
Yeah.
yeah.
you can't make money off of
Wait.
it. I don't think.
that's why the games
Well,
are free.
except
Yeah.
in Russia. Except in Russia,
Yeah.
where someone became a jerk and actually trademarked the SCP logo there.
Some Russian lawyer decided to do
Yeah.
that because their trademark laws work differently, and so he was able to copyright it or trademark it for a little bit. But I think they got that sorted out.
Yeah, they got it. They got. it back now because there isn't enough funds actually.
So it's kind of like Wikipedia, where you could just if you just go on and write about some like an SCP.
Pretty
Well,
much, yeah. It is.
I think you
actually
had
like
it has to be accepted by people.
Well, yeah,
they
like
vote on it.
Wikipedia is.
Yeah. Well,
Like it
Kind
has
of.
to be accepted.
so basically all the SCPs are community people made them up,
Yeah.
but it has to fall into like that universe kind of. Although the universe is like you were, I think someone was saying it before, but like open to interpretation kind of.
Yeah, like some SCPs will have lore about other SCPs
Yeah.
that it doesn't exactly have to follow any sort of canon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just kind of exists to be creative.
So I think that's why the community is so like good in the game,
Yeah.
because first of all the game is free and someone made it that was in the community, but also everyone that's playing like, and it's just like a tight knit community.
Yeah. I mean, except when you join the game and there's like 10 screaming kids
Yeah.
over voice
It
chat.
can be toxic.
You get that
sometimes.
anywhere though.
and
Yeah.
when the server's actually on friendly fire as well.
Oh,
boy.
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it has its moments, but
I
there
did not enjoy getting shot by my own NTF squadron that were made up of kids.
yeah.
But I know you would enjoy
got-
shooting them back.
I would enjoy that. That's why I convinced you, Jay, because I told him there's a mutiny going on. Shoot them. There's enemy NTF.
Oh, wait, you convinced me that? Were you lying to me?
No, I wasn't convincing you that.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
saying.
So they were actually
I
going to
told
kill?
you and Ben were already down in the elevator.
Yeah, they opened
and
the
Ca-
elevator and we just mowed them
Me and Caleb or
down.
Chug. Yeah, either
Yeah.
me, Caleb, or me and Chug were just going in the elevator, like just to go down there.
Nice.
Eventually, then these two kids just opened fire on our heads.
Oh, I remember that.
But yeah, other than some toxic people in the game, which you'll get that anywhere, the community's really good.
Yeah.
Full of creative people and supportive people.
Yeah, like sometimes, like we were saying with the plague doctor, like someone will be the plague doctor, then everyone wants to like be a part of that like group or whatever.
Well, I mean,
one of-
it actually it turns you into an SCP.
yeah.
So and everybody wants to be an SCP.
yeah, I mean, the zombies aren't like the best SCPs.
They're
but
pretty lame.
Yeah,
it's fun though because you get to follow the plague doctor and like you have this little like entourage or whatever.
Yeah.
I love being a zombie when it's SCP-049 because I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, Dad, I'll get him. Don't worry, I'll make you proud.
I like the game. Like I like how the winning system's set up. Like you don't get like ranks. I kind of like that for this game, just because I feel like it might be a person that's like level 300, and then you might be like
How can
level 2. There's like no level
How-
system.
Yeah.
How would there be level systems in that game, anyways?
Well, maybe kills or something. Yeah, it's. I mean, the
very-
game is really bare bones.
Yeah.
It's
True.
like a community game. It's got its own little thing going on.
I wouldn't say it's bare bones. It's just simple. Well, not really. It's complicated to learn, but
Yeah.
it's really simplistic in its
bare
format.
bones, as in like it doesn't have any microtransactions.
That's
a
a good thing, though.
Yeah, it's really like almost like in a way homemade kind
Yeah.
of.
There's no skins.
Yeah.
There's like I kind
But-
of like it.
It goes back to the old days of games when we didn't
Yeah.
have all that stuff.
Yeah, it's not. It's like refreshing to play.
Yeah.
Well, it's made with the Half-Life engine. Or wait, what engine is
Is
that?
it?
Source engine.
Source
Yeti?
engine.
Source. It was Source.
Yeah. So,
But
it's-
they're
That's why it feels like Gary's mod.
Yeah, it just feels simple.
yeah. But you were saying like the winning system.
Yeah, it's like it says SCP's 1, and you're like,
Yeah.
if you're an SCP or if you're not an SCP, you don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is it? We were playing with this one guy. His name was like FBI or something.
Actually, the thing is totally not an FBI agent.
Yeah. We were all what, security guards or Ninetail?
You were Ninetail. I was a D class.
Okay, so
Well, technically, you met with him when he was Ninetail. I met with him when I was D class.
okay, so
what I did
technically
was-
we should have killed you, but
Yeah.
Yeah. But technically, as D class, so I was in the bathroom to get a key card. I went to get a key card in the bathroom.
Mhm.
Then they all saw a gun in the bathroom. I was like, well, it's gonna be fun. And there's friendly fire on the server too. So I was gonna kill another D class.
Wait, guns
An
spawn
FBI
in the
agent.
bathroom?
yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I
And
didn't know that.
the FBI agent, there was like 3 people: the FBI agent, the server owner, and some random kid. I don't know. The server owner told me like, all right, I'll give you member status if you shoot him. And I just shot the guy. I just shot FBI.
Oh.
Did he give you member status?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, nice.
Wait, what does member
the,
do?
the other guy was like, I hope it was worth it.
What does that mean, though? Being a
It's
member.
like in the Discord server.
Oh, okay.
like,
Do you normally have to
Discord
pay to get into those or something?
No, just
Just for
random
fun.
Discord server. Yeah, just for fun.
It's pretty
I
cool.
became a member now.
Brian, how about when we all met up in the intercom room?
Oh, that was fun. So I think Shy Guy, right? It was Shy Guy.
Yeah.
We were on intercom room because FBI agent wanted to like talk over the intercom to say something I forgot.
Yeah.
Then later, eventually, Larry heard us. Shy Guy heard us. Went down to intercom, and I just hear him yell, "FBI, put your hands down!"
No,
As
but
he
like,
proceeds to get his throat slit open.
while Shy Guy was running after us, I ran out of the room, and all I hear down in the room is FBI, stop! And he like gets killed. It's like,
I got killed alongside of him.
I love how as he was getting slaughtered, he was screaming FBI.
I think you said once the elevator opened up and there's an SCP in the elevator with a kid.
Yeah. What do you mean? What?
You said there's an SCP with a kid in the elevator and he was screaming, "Help me!"
Oh yeah. So like, I call the elevator up, and then all I hear is "Help! Help!" and he's jumping around in circles as this SCP is in the thing with him. It's like, how did you survive that whole like ride up the elevator?
I was playing Plague Doctor and I was chasing a guy and he went into one elevator, and so I went in the elevator across from that, which went down to the same floor at the same time, and he thought he evaded me, but I came out the other elevator and he got out and was AFK or something, and I just went over and killed him.
Nice.
Okay, to finish off this episode, we're going to read one of the safe class SCPs, and we're going to take turns reading it, so you can kind of get an idea of what an SCP entry looks like.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'll start off. So the picture is a green hard case book. Item number SCP-1230. Object class safe. SCP-1230 has been relocated to a secure storage locker behind the desk of Site 12's main library. Access is available to Clearance 2 personnel deemed to be in satisfactory psychological condition by site psychiatric staff. Personnel accessing SCP-1230 must submit written accounts of their dreams within 48 hours of access and submit to follow-up psychological examination.
I can read the description.
Okay.
Description. SCP-1230 is an unlabeled green hardcover book with no apparent exceptional qualities. When SCP-1230 is opened, it displays the phrase, "A hero is born," on the first page viewed, while all other pages will be blank, resetting once the book is closed. This has no obvious effects at first, but upon falling asleep, the reader will dream of a fantasy world where they are the protagonist of a troubled land. Dreamers are completely aware, and all senses work just as well as when awake. Results vary depending on the imagination of the reader, and are mostly attuned to fantasies of adventure when the reader that the reader would enjoy. In the mind of the reader, these dreams have been documented to last anywhere from 45 seconds, see Experiment 1233, to 200 years, see Experiment 1235, or 1230-5. But in reality, the reader would usually never be asleep longer than they would normally. Upon awakening, the reader is able to remember every aspect of their dream in detail. In SCP-1230-induced dreams, there is always a character called the Bookkeeper, SCP-1230-1. There is always a character called the Bookkeeper, SCP-1230-1, appearing as a bearded man in a green cloak who claims to be the personification of SCP-1230 himself. SCP-1230-1 has been reported to be very amicable and helpful towards dreamers. It is stated that it enjoys creating these fantasy-scapes and always tries to shape them in such a way that the dreamer garners the most entertainment out of it. It has expressed sorrow when the dream comes to an end and asks the dreamer to please visit again soon.
In a small bookstore located data expunged, the shopkeeper had no recollection of owning the unlabeled book, but attempted to sell a story to local newspapers about a magical dream book. The Foundation was able to dispel the story as a hoax, and SCP-1230 was confiscated.
So the next couple entries in here are experiment entries, which are stories about experiments done on the SCP itself, and each one has a different. And each one has different events that occurred in them.
All right. Dr. F, in an attempt to test its effective range, opened SCP-1230 and boarded a flight to his hometown of Redacted. where he spent the night at a hotel. Upon his return, Dr. F reported that SCP-1230-1 appeared in his dreams and explained that once you read A Hero is Born, the dream is immediately implanted into your subconscious, after which SCP-1230-1 is able to manipulate it remotely. Dr. F expresses appreciation for SCP-1230-1's cooperation.
Experiment 1230-02. A camera was set up above SCP-1230, and using a mechanical arm, the book was opened. All pages were revealed to be blank. It seems SCP-1230 is only effective when opened by beings that are able to have dreams. SCP-1230-1 explained to a subsequent dreamer that it is actually only able to affect beings with an imagination, and that most creatures such as animals would not be affected.
Experiment 1230-03. One D class was instructed to open the book, and, after much reassurance that his experiences would only be dreams, ordered to immediately find a way to kill himself in a dream. The subject was asleep for merely 45 seconds before he awoke with a start and a nervous sweat. He reported being at the summit of a volcano called the Ashen Spire, on a quest for Caldeus, the Blessed Blade. When asked how the subject knew the names, he stated, "It's like I knew them all along." He apparently leapt into the volcano and felt an intense heat before awakening. D-Class requested permission to give it another go. Request was denied.
Experiment 1230-04. One D-Class was instructed to open the book and attempt to non-fatally injure himself in his dream. After 6 hours, the D-Class awoke and reported that he was able to feel a numb sort of pain, where it was never so intense as to be unbearable. He was also reported meeting an elderly cloaked man who asked him why he was wearing. A cloaked man who asked him why he was harming himself, but thanked him for not immediately killing himself, like that other rude fellow.
All right. Experiment 1230-5. Professor B filed a request for access to SCP-1230 and was quickly permitted, given his Level 4 clearance. Staff members recalled that Professor B was almost visibly shaking with excitement, and some reported that Professor B was an avid fan of tabletop and role-playing games. Surveillance shows that Professor B opened the book, read the phrase, sat down beside the desk, and promptly fell asleep. Staff members were alarmed when Professor B did not awake after 15 hours and alerted security. The on-site medical staff were able to confirm that Professor B was still alive and in good health. After approximately 24 hours since falling asleep, Professor B began to move, reported he had slowly raised his head and looked around the room, appearing deeply confused. Security entered the room to ensure that he was all right, to which he replied, "Where am I?" He was sent to medical, where staff explained where and who he was. Several minutes later, Professor B appeared to have regained his memory and excused himself to the restroom. When 15 minutes passed and Professor B had not exited, a nurse entered to find he had hanged himself with his belt. A scribbling message on the wall revealed his last words, "I can't go back to this." Dr. F went to ask SCP-1230-1 what had happened, but upon opening SCP-1230, all its pages were soaking wet with the same message on every page. "I'm so sorry. I never intended for this to happen. I just wanted to make people happy," repeated over and over. SCP-1230 remained in this state for 3 weeks, and its desk had to be wiped dry bi-weekly. In an attempt to communicate, Dr. F placed a sticky note inside SCP-1230 with the statement, "I'd like to talk to you if that's all right." The next morning, Dr. F filed a report about a dream he had concerning SCP-1230-1.
Report -1230-14. Upon falling asleep last night, I dreamt I was in a dark void. There was a street lamp, and underneath it was SCP-1230-1, sitting in a puddle. His cloak was visibly soaked, and he was sobbing profusely. I remember our conversation. Dr. F. Bookkeeper, is that you? Where are we? Bookkeeper. I couldn't think of anything to make for a landscape. Dr. F. Bookkeeper, what happened that day? Why did Professor B kill himself? We have to know your side of the story. Bookkeeper, wiping his eyes. He had such an active imagination. I was able to create a vast and beautiful universe for him. And it was obvious that he wanted a life like that for so long. He conquered foul beasts and rescued princesses. He built kingdoms and even raised a family. But he never wanted to leave. He delved so far into his fantasy world that I soon realized he preferred his dream over the real world. I reminded him that this was merely an illusion, but he wouldn't listen to me. He stated that if he was ever forced to leave, he would immediately end his life. I tried to keep him happy for as long as I could. Dr. F. Bookkeeper. How long was the dream from his point of view? Bookkeeper. 200 years, Doctor. I did my best, but I could only hold on to him for 200 years. As sweet as dreams may be, eventually we'll have to wake up. I awoke almost immediately after. I can't believe he spent 200 years in his dream. I'm astounded by his foolishness, but it's such a shame to have lost a brilliant mind to his own delusions.
Shortly after the report was filed, surveillance showed Dr. F slipping another small paper into SCP-1230. A few days later, SCP-1230 began showing its usual "a hero is born" greeting once again. When asked what the note said, Dr. F declined to give the detailed comment, simply stating that he just gave it some friendly advice.
Addendum 1230-A. During initial testing, SCP-1230-1 asked dreaming personnel if it could be relocated to an area with many books, preferably fiction, so it can think of even better ways to construct its fantasy-scapes. After numerous experiments were performed to ensure that SCP-1230 posed no threat, that request was accepted, and SCP-1230 has been relocated to Site 12's library.
So yeah, not all SCPs are dangerous beings. Some of them are just interesting reads.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to wrap up our episode today. There's actually a lot more to this universe than we didn't even talk about. And we could read this for hours and hours and barely scratch the surface. Thanks for joining us today, Bryan.
Thank you very much for having me here, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Best opportunity I got.
Yeah, we tried a kind of a different format today, and we'll see how people like it.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
It was. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.